Hello, everyone. This is Christiana and Trayan beaming in for the last webinar of the Pranic Consciousness process. Happy to be with you again. Blissful to be able to connect in this way via this wonderful internet. Hoping you're also connecting with me in the internet so that we feel each other at a deeper level. Today, we're talking about uh, this last theme that I enjoy very much, the impact of sound and music and resonance on pranic living, or in other words, how what you listen to is impacting your body and energy system, and how this is impacting the way prana is circulating through your body and energy system. Um, As you know, each theme is recommended and supported by an ascended master. And today or tonight is time for Mother Mary to beam in and the angelics. So this theme, this step of the pranic consciousness process is actually recommended by them. Why is this wonderful? Well, because Mother Mary is initiate in the mysteries of the schools of Egypt and the mysteries of the schools of Hathor, and the main, or one of the main initiations there is the mastery of sound, wording, tongues, and music, um, and how it can impact matter. So they were taught not only to master matter via sound, but also how, and that includes the physical body, but also to shift the frequency of places, um, mm, and by places I refer to buildings or temples or even an entire city or the planetary level by the impact of wording, sound, and music. This is a vast subject. It's a huge topic to approach, and I'm literally feeling called to start with the most tempting of all. Um, we know megalithic structures have been built on the surface of this planet, and we know there's very little probability that they have been built in a mechanical way, like with you know, whatever they teach in history books or at school, you know, with vine ropes and people carrying stones on logs, on wood logs, and all that stuff that makes no sense, you know. Um, I'm thinking the pyramids in Egypt, but I'm also thinking big temples and the Sphinx and so on. Um, there must have been another method that they used, you know, for transporting all these huge stones in piling them together in a perfect way so that the bottom is very well aligned with the center. Um, Sorry, the top is very well aligned to the center of the base of the pyramid and so on. They must have had a more advanced method, you know, that we didn't write about in the history books. And what I what I am, you know, tempted to say in the beginning of this webinar is that they use sound to shift the frequency of the building blocks so that they could move them. You know, or if you don't know, I'm going to start sharing now. Sound is one of the most powerful ways of shifting frequency. And you can easily see that when you go home a little tired or a little nervous, and you start listening to your favorite music, and you're starting to be more calm and more centered and more relaxed, and you seem together all together and so on. That's because sound is literally shifting your frequency, and you can notice that in your mood as well. Well, the same way sound can shift the frequency of inanimate matter, and it can bring it into a higher vibration. The way your vibration shifts and uh, up is up upgraded by sound and by the right music, the same way inanimate matter might be shifted frequency wise by sound. And that's how we can, for example, levitate objects and move them with our intention in the right direction, and even build various types of constructions. This is my, not only my, view of how pyramids and other megalithic structures were built, by using sound, toning, or various beams of sound to shift the frequency of that matter, and making it lighter and more subjected to um, being moved with intention, without the difficulty of the gravity and so on. And in my view, this could easily, if we master this at the level of our civilization now, we could easily use gravity-free vehicles and even transport our bodies with ease, um, and without such high expenses, without the expenses that we're having now. So I can't wait for this moment in the history of humanity. But until then, let's talk about how we can shift our own frequency, and how we can, um, make our lives better and our bodies healthier with sound. Because before starting to build other megalithic buildings, or teleport our bodies, or travel on Mars in a gravity-free vehicle, the first thing to do is for us to be in harmony, and to have a healthy body and healthy energy system where prana can circulate harmoniously. Yeah, I would start with that. So how can we use sound to to harmonize our bodies, and to get healthier and more fine tuned? How could we do that? Well, we have you have probably heard about the mantras, or sacred syllables that, when used, they have a strong impact on your energy field or your body. If you have ever been meditating and using mantras or even a prayer, you have noticed that by repeating that syllable or sound or the words of a prayer, your frequency has shifted, your mind has become more quiet, you have started to feel calmer, you have started to maybe feel more confident, or more open to universal guidance. You maybe have started to feel your heart expanding, or your chakras expanding if you're more sensitive, and so on. Just by repeating these power words or mantras or syllables. Well, this is having not only a huge impact on your mental um, balance and your mental rhythms and your emotional, but also a huge impact on your physical body, because as we know, sound and words are impacting our physical body. The explanation for how this is happening is that our body is made of water. We have water in our cells and in the fluids that are at the basis, at the foundation of our physical structure. And we have seen, or you can look it up over Google, how the molecular structure of the water is shifted by sound and words. There's Masaru Emoto, the renowned scientist who has done amazing studies on water and the molecular structure of it. And it has been shown scientifically that when you paste a word on a bottle of water, the molecular structure changes. So it literally, if you were to frozen to freeze that water, it literally forms a different structure that than a non-informed water. Also, it has been seen that when a certain sound is uttered upon the water, its molecular structure shifts in a harmonious way if the sound is harmonious, and in a disharmonious way if the sound or word is disharmonious. You know, for bad words or curse words or negative words, the water would form disorganized, disharmonious molecular structure, while as in while with the harmonious and beautiful words or beautiful sounds, the water would form a molecular structure that was very uh, harmonious, like a very, very beautiful snowflake. And you can see all this research with photos on the internet and see how wonderful the molecular structure of the water is when the words or sounds used are harmonious. So very, very easy. And taking that back to our body, the body is being made out of 70-80% water, depending on our own structure. Uh, is definitely impacted by sound, as according to the studies, 70% of your body at least has a strong reaction to sound, and your inner molecular structure is shifting according to the sounds you are listening to and according to the words that you hear, you know, the words that are told to you or the words that you tell yourself. And that includes, of course, um, your own thinking, your own inner wording, your own thoughts are also impacting the water on your body, in your body. So that's a good news actually, because that's how easy you can change your molecular structure, the structure of your molecules in your body. The molecules in your cells are so easy to shift by using sound. If you use harmonious sounds, if you use beautiful words, positive impacting words, you will have fabulous results with the health of your body. Um, we all know, most of us know and have seen now the affirmations craze going bigger and bigger, and starting from Louise Hay and others, everybody is now talking about positive affirmations and repeating affirmations in the mirror or while you're driving and so on, just to have a strong impact on your subconscious. But my view is that not only the subconscious is impacted by your affirmations and your words, but also and mostly the water inside your body is strongly impacted by what you utter, what you affirm, or what words you are using every day. And that's why people that curse a lot or use a lot of bad words in general might have first of all, an agitated state of being most of the times, and sometimes a very poor health because, you know, not only this adds up to the way they are eating and thinking and their genetic, disposition and so on, the wording adds up to all that, and it can decrease the harmony in the body. And on the other hand, for a person that has a bad diet, a bad lifestyle, and maybe not so happy genes, wording and power words and mantras could have a tremendous effect in a very simple way. And I strongly believe that. And not only from my personal or spiritual belief, but studies again have shown that when two holistic healers in China were brought to a hospital to the bed of a lady with a huge illness in her body, and they started to utter some power words with a powerful intention, some powerful healing words with the powerful intention that that lady heals. She was healed instantly, like on the spot, and the issue in her body had been recorded to go in instant remission. And you can find, the video on YouTube to see, to watch, to literally watch it in real time as it's shrinking and disappearing from the body as they repeat these words of power, and that's the power that the wording and the mantras or the power words are having on our physical health and on the cells of our body. So that makes us all maybe more aware on the words that we're using and the words that we're listening to. And it's also an invitation of being aware of the music and sounds that we're listening to. And we'll get deeper into that, and we'll talk about what good words and bad words mean, and what beneficial music is, and what sounds we can use to restore back to health or to enhance our health if we're already healthy. We'll talk about all that in a minute. We'll also talk about the power words and how we can use them to transform our reality, manifesting with wording and so on. We'll also talk about frequencies and solfeggios and types of music and types of instruments, and about the benefits of tone and the toning and vowels and other simple but powerful methods to restore back to balance just by using sound and music and resonance. But before that, because some of you are very new to our webinars, some of you might be here the first time, you know, we want to give you a big hug, first of all, and welcome you for joining us. And also, we want to share a little bit about how we're gonna work with this webinar. We're gonna have about 1 hour starting now, 1 hour of webinar. It's best that you watch it on YouTube. I know many of you are watching on the smartphones or tablets, but it's best if you watch it on YouTube, because on YouTube, on your laptop, that's what I mean. On your laptop, you have a chat box next to the video, and you can use that chat box to share with us. You can add comments. You can see the links that we're posting there, and we're going to post some links tonight for you having the nice music and stuff. And you can also share with us, if you're, especially if you're new, you can share the country and the name, so that we can see where you're from and where you have joined us from. So Chatbox is only visible on your laptop as far as we know. That's why we recommend the usage of laptop during the webinars, or even, I guess, even the tablet would do. In addition to that, we're gonna have meditation or reprogramming with wording somewhere towards the middle or the end of this video class. So it's best that you have some time for yourself, with us. some private time so that you can be fully present with us in meditation. So if we can let the people you live with know that you're going to have a personal growth moment and you're watching something very important, or however you want to put it, so that you can be left on your own for 1 hour to be able to meditate. And you can also, grab some earphones or headphones just to have some privacy and not hear all the sounds in the house, because they're all also distracting you, especially when meditating. We will also recommend you to grab some pen and paper so that you can write down whatever suggestions you find useful from this webinar. And towards the end, we're also going to present some surprises. So stay tuned and you'll get a chance to get in contact with those as well. Um, my name for the new ones is Cristiana El Trayan. I'm an author, a public speaker, and holistic therapist. I've had 4 published books so far, writing the 5th one, holding several hundreds of conferences around the world, and doing one-on-one sessions with maybe thousands of people. I'm working on this field of research, which is holistic healing and harmonization, for more than 8 years now. And I'm happy to be facilitating this transformational program, which is called Pranic Consciousness Process, that is helping people become more aware of how they circulate and gather the energy, but also helping them um, find new methods, new simple methods and steps to use in their daily life, just to raise the frequency, to raise the vibration, to increase the pranic flow or the flow of energy in their bodies, and to be able to also have a lighter diet. A lighter diet, maybe going to vegetarianism, veganism, raw food, juices, or even be nourished more and more by just prana. So far, we've organized these trainings or programs since 2013. November 2013 was the start of this program in my activity, and I am now holding it for 5 years, I guess, if I calculated correctly. It's been a great honor for me to be able to share this program with people. It's the equivalent or the renaming of the Luscious Lifestyle Program, if you heard of it. It's been also shared by Jasmine on her channels, and it's part of the programs of the Embassy of Peace. Um, why this training is important is that not only it brings very simple and efficient methods of raising the vibration, keeping a healthy balance with spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical body, and also increasing the prana flow or the energy flow, but also it's very important because it is held in the presence or under the guidance and support of 8 ascended masters. And they're all with us while we speak and channeling information and supporting everyone participating, because they have worked diligently along this planet and in the subtle realms for the harmonization and evolution of humanity. And now they have brought together this recipe of harmonization that is destined to bring more balance to humanity and to help us move through this evolutionary process into higher states of consciousness. Uh, The program not only brings more balance, inwardly, and more health and peaceful and calm moments, but it also brings much more clarity to your life, because we have tools that help you clarify and declutter your mind, your emotional body, detox your physical body, treat it like a temple, and so on. So you'll find all these tools and modalities, throughout the training. We have the video version that we've recorded this last training, but we also start a new series of live streaming trainings next Friday on February 16th. So you can either join us with video, watching the video classes, or join us in live streaming and be with us all the way throughout the training, because it's fabulous and it's had great results with people. I'm going to actually place the link of this in the chat box. You're also having the link below the video if you're watching on your tablet or smartphone, the link to the new pranic consciousness process, so that you can join it and be with us. Let's see if I posted the right one. Hmm, I don't know. I'm going to just post it again just to make sure. And you can see all the details at that link. Yeah, it's true. It's best that I posted here. So everyone, if you're ready, we're ready to go deeper into this theme of tonight. We've shared um, all the details of how to be with us and be, more to benefit, to take the best of this webinar. Now, let's see if you have any questions or anything in particular that you'd like to find out from this theme. Let us know what your expectations are, or what your questions are, or what your interest in resonance, sound, and music. And maybe if you have some experiences with it so far, we're happy to hear about it in via comments in our chat box. So welcome, welcome, welcome to everyone. Many hugs to all the new ones that have joined. And we're going deeper into how sound, music, and vibration can help us be harmonious. Let's see. The first thing that I've experienced with sound and literally saw how it shifts my mood was when I started to meditate. When I started to meditate, I had a very um, not severe, but determined meditation teacher that was teaching me the best of meditation. And one of his first, advice was not to use music during meditation at that stage of the beginning. Everybody was meditating with music. I was a little curious uh, why he asked this from me, and the explanation was that I had to train my mind to not go anywhere else but in, because when we use sound, the mind tends to go and and cling on that sound and go with it, and not be maybe fully focused with it. So he was literally teaching me to have no orientation in the outside and to be able to dive as deep as possible. So I've meditated with no sound, no music for quite a while, until I trained to go instantly in meditation everywhere I was, or anywhere in any situation, if I could meditate. in buses and cars, even while standing in a queue or something, I could go in meditation without being distracted. So from that step on, I could use any music or sound that I wanted. And of course, I started introducing some music in my meditation practice, and that was a huge delight for me. Like I was bringing the fun to the party. Not that I was not pleased or satisfied with the results I was having in meditating with no sound. It was really interesting for me to discover all that inner world that I had never visited in a while. But now that I was having sound, it was all becoming sweeter and more fun, and more delighting. And I would see that from that rigidity of the initial meditation technique, I would go into a fluidity with meditation, in a flow. It was all impacted by the sound and how it started flowing through my body while I was meditating. So this has been a fun addition, a fun and beautiful addition to my practice. Also, I noticed that various types of sound or music would have a different effect on my meditation. So um, I could be energized by some sounds, calmed by others, become more sensual with some sounds, become more focused with other sounds. So I learned how to use sounds and melodies according to the state I would want to go into. And even to this day, I have certain um, melodies or subliminal tracks that I'm using when I want to instantly get a certain mind state, a certain inner state, and it's having a strong and very rapid effect on my mood and on my focus and on the overall state of my being. So I've learned how to choose sounds and music and even the subliminals that I'm using according to the state that I want to attain. That was the most obvious impact for me, and the most the clearest, evidence that not only sound and music can have an impact on our system, but it can have sometimes an instant impact and a huge can produce a huge shift in our mood. For example, no matter how nervous or agitated you come home, if you use a beautiful subliminal solfeggios, for example, and I'm going to post just one of the links that I very much enjoy. If you put on these solfeggios and listen to them, your mood will shift in about 5 to 10 minutes and would be totally different, more balanced, calmer, and far more centered just by doing that. So because the solfeggios are um, very powerful toning methods or musical methods that have used the frequencies necessary to harmonize not only the physical body but the mental, emotional, and so on. And you have the link to my favorite solfeggios or subliminal music here in the chat next to the video. If you're watching on laptop, if you're watching on tablet or smartphone, I'm not sure that you have access to the chat. So it's best that you can access it via laptop. Um, so easy to again use, and I want to stress upon the type of music that you might listen, because that has a huge impact on your subconscious and emotional body as well. Somewhere in 1940s, maybe, I don't know exactly, the musical pitch, or the musical the way they were using the musical instruments, and they were fine tuning them, was shifted from 432 hertz to 440, and it was a big shift in how music is impacting the human body, because the 432 is the frequency of harmony, of universal harmony, and it's resonating the human body and the human cells in a positive, beneficial way, while the 440 is resonating the human body, or is affecting the human body in a not a beneficial way, and is as end result is creating chaos in ourselves, and in our mental state as well. And this was one of the most powerful effects of this shift, that the society became more chaotic along the way, especially with the development of the mass media, the radio, the TV, where everybody is listening to random music. The musical channels are randomly displaying the music, so you can't really choose unless you turn off the channel or the TV. While when you listen to your own music and you choose your own music, on a player or on your computer, you can choose what you listen and not randomly get what is played on the radio. And you can choose to have in your computer or player or smartphone the music that is resonating your body in a healthy way. And the beauty is that the internet now is full of melodies that are again created on the 432 pitch, so you can find them and listen to them, because more and more musical specialists that are trained in holistic knowledge are now developing this musical system, and helping people to fine tune back to health again and back to harmony again with the the proper music. You can also look on YouTube for the 528 hertz music. That is the frequency of harmony, of universal harmony, and it's also very healing for and uplifting for our DNA, which is of course reacting or responding to music. And there's also a lot of information on that you can get over the internet now. There's several documentaries that I've also watched and recommend. One of them is um, also has been displayed on our Pranic Consciousness Process Facebook page. So you can tune into our Facebook page, because I don't remember exactly the name of that documentary. You can look on our Facebook page and even like it and give us a share, maybe, and you'll find the documentary there, which explains how frequencies are interconnected with the planetary rhythms, with the universal rhythms, with the numbers, with the music, with with the instruments, the musical instruments, the pitch that we're listening to, and so on. We're tuning the instruments to, and so on. So you're having the information on our Facebook page, the Pranic Consciousness Process Facebook page. And more information, all over the YouTube, all over Google. And there's also a book called The Book of 528, which offers many, many details on frequency, resonance, pitch, and how it can impact not only the body, but also the space we're in, and so on. And there's also a website called the sacredtempleofsounds.com. So sacredtempleofsounds.com, that explains very much about it. And I know because I've just watched a documentary made by them. Let me see if I can write it down in your chat box. Sacred Temple of Sounds.com. There you go. So you have all the links to what I shared so far in the chat box next to the video, so that you can have them and use them afterwards. And I see more and more of the new ones joining us. So welcome everyone, and happy to see that you're joining us in a large number. Please, as I said, write your name and your country in the chat box next to the video on the laptop. You can find it if you're watching on YouTube, or in the comments on Facebook as well, so that we know who we have reached with this webinar. And it's a pleasure to connect with you this way. So use the comments below the Facebook video, or the chat box to the right of your video, to connect with us. And if you have questions on this theme of the impact of sound, music, and resonance, please feel free to ask them in the chat box. Please feel free to add your comments and whatever it is that you're maybe expecting from this theme. Okay, I'm repeating this because some new ones have just joined our webinar now. So welcome everyone. As we know, everything is resonating. Even the planets have their own music, which is also called the music of spheres. And there has been, recording on NASA's website, or you can find them on YouTube, recording of the planetary sounds, and how they can, they can even have a strong impact on your body, because your body is connected with the planets. And each hi Gopinath, nice to hear from you. Each internal organ in our body is connected to a certain planet. And how are they connected? Were they connected via resonance? So basically, the way your internal organs resonate are connected to the frequency of the corresponding planets. So that's an amazing thing to grasp with our minds. And it's making it clearer and clearer that our body is actually a microcosm, and it's a mirror, or a mirror of the macrocosm, so to speak. And relating to that, in the Taoist tradition, we have healing sound for each internal organ that we can utter inwardly or in loud voice. And each healing sound is not only impacting an internal organ, but also resonating with a certain, it's a cosmic sound, so it's resonating to a certain planet. So everything is resonating. Your body is resonating with the cosmos, is resonating with the planets. The matter, the inanimate matter, is resonating with the live bodies, and everything is interconnected. And what connects us, besides the prana, or the etheric energy that is in everything, and holding everything together. What connects us is sound. Even audible or inaudible sound, there's always there's always a subtle music between us, and why we are so sensitive to each other, for those of you who feel that, is because we're those of us who are feeling each other and are sensitive to each other, is because we're resonating on a similar frequency, and that's why you can sometimes feel the moods of the ones around you, or are affected, impacted by the force field of a certain person, because you're either resonating at at a similar frequency with him or her, or you are um, picking up a frequency that is shifting your field in a certain way. So back to sounds and music. Choose it wisely. When you're listening to the music that you're listening on the internet, or radio, or so on, just choose the music wisely, because that's having an impact on your mood and on your mental field and on your physical body. And you want to choose the music that is tuned to the pitch of harmony, the 432, because that's gonna, if not, that's gonna have a bad impact on your mood and on your body. Uh, Regardless of how much you like. For example, I also listen to sometimes disco music, sometimes I listen to Beyonce and weird stuff like that. I like to dance on clubbing music, but it's for a very short amount of time, one or two songs, and then I shift back to my harmonizing sounds, which are created in this beautiful pitch that I'm talking about. And literally, all my life is filled with sound and music, because not only I listen to music while holding webinars, while working on the computer, while driving my car, and so on, but I also have a player next to my bed, connected to the sound system in my room, and it's constantly sending out harmonizing sounds throughout the night, so that during the night while I sleep, doing nothing, apparently, my body gets harmonized and pampered by these beautiful sound, by this beautiful sound, that I'm listening to. And I have a huge playlist of beautiful music, including the solfeggios that I posted in the chat box, including healing music from various fabulous artists, and so on. In terms of healing, you know that sound is healing. We've talked about it, and to answer to someone who's now asking in the chat box, I've placed there the website, sacredtempleofsounds.com. If it doesn't work, try another way of wording it, maybe, or just Google it and see how it really is, because that's how I've written it down here on my notebook, and that's how I remember it. But you can just Google sacredtempleofsounds.com and see what comes out and find the website. It's very simple. Back to sounds. And thank you for mentioning that it doesn't work, because that's how I've written it down. Um, Back to the sounds, I was mentioning that I have a wonderful playlist that plays during the night, and that includes healing music. Well, I highly recommend, for healing, or even changing, reprogramming our energy field. I highly recommend the reef frequencies. If you want to know more about the reef frequencies, I'm going to write it. Reef frequencies. You can find out about them on Google as well, and about their healing properties and so on. There's an artist creating beautiful reef frequencies music called Elke Neher. I wrote her name as well. And she has plenty of videos on YouTube of various things from using frequencies for enhancing the vitamins in the body, to using them for changing or deprogramming the subconscious, or using them for certain illnesses or detox, like liver detox and so on. So a lot of beautiful work that has to do with healing and harmonizing. And if you just play that during the night while your body is asleep, you can have fabulous results, because even the mind is not holding any resistance, and you're having full impact on your body and your subconscious. So these are the recommendations that of some of the things I use, but I use such a vast discography of healing and harmonizing music that I don't even know what to begin with. You just ask for the universe that it gives you the right sounds for you, and then see what you get. Um, I also use sounds, my own sounds for healing, like the 6 healing sounds from the Taoist tradition. I was telling you that each organ is having a certain cosmic sound for healing. And when I started working with these cosmic sounds, I've noticed a huge impact, shift on my emotions, and also on my internal health of my internal organs. So, using the 6 healing sounds from Taoism is totally shifting the emotional intelligence and the balance of our emotional, but also the mental field, and the health of our internal organs, because they store emotions, and we can release emotions from the inner organs while using sound. Um, Another important, and that can be, you can find out more about these sounds and the Taoist methods and the Taoist emotional intelligence, and how sounds is impacting our structure, and we can use them to heal. You can find out about that in our class called the Taoist Emotional Intelligence, um, emotional and sexual energy healing, that we have at the event section of our website. So I'm going to also post it here so that you have easy access to the video class, and you can access it, and and really have fabulous information on that as well. Um, what else? Because I only have 1 hour or 1 hour and a half for these webinars, but the amount of information that I'm gathering with each webinar series is getting wider and wider. So it's just sometimes overwhelming, and I'd like to share everything with you guys, and give you the best of what I've experienced. What can sound do in your body? Well, it can bring increased sensory perception, the clarity, the intuition get enhanced by using the right sounds. It can release limiting beliefs and the programs from your system and from your cellular memory, and it can also release disease, or as I said, heal your body. Uh, it can, of course, get you into an altered brain state, and it's important to choose wisely the music for brain shift on the internet. Now everybody's doing subliminal music of various types, and they're having, beautiful arguments on how to choose their music. But we have to be careful on what we choose, because it literally alters the brain state, and sometimes the way it alters it, might not be beneficial or appropriate for you. So choose wisely and see what works for your own system, and try to choose, from sources that have best references, or from a recommendation of someone you trust, because otherwise there's just so much subliminal music, and you might end up with frying your brain from too much subliminal sounds. I have a friend who has listened, so much subliminal sounds during the day, and constantly using frequency sounds, that at some point he was getting imbalanced and ungrounded, and I had to tell him that it's not very wise, and you have to alternate subliminal sounds with some other type of music, so that you can help your system integrate, first of all, to help your system integrate the effects of that, and not to get uh, too much mm, burnout from it. If you're shifting something really quick and at a rapid pace, not not always is the best end result. It synchronizes the right sounds and then music. It synchronizes the left and right brain hemisphere, with which leads to balancing our whole being, and centering or ourselves. We have a huge impact on the general state and the spiritual state as well, because the right sounds can even dissolve the veils within reality, and impact you, give you what we call an altered state of consciousness, like access to your multidimensional nature, or experiencing the expansion of your being, and so on. There are now sounds all over the internet that have this impact on people, and it can also have a strong impact on your DNA, and you can literally do DNA reprogramming with sound and subliminal affirmations. This is also found over the internet, and it has positive effects if you choose the right sources. And I can't stress enough on choosing the right sources, especially with powerful stuff. The most powerful it is, like if it refers to DNA or brain, you want to be careful, and you want to be sure that the source is harmonious, because it's a powerful impact. uh, we also have on the planet special creatures that know exactly how to harmonize spaces with sounds um, besides the people. I mean, the dolphins, for example, are specialists in the harmonization with sound. They emit sound bubbles. There's um, something called sound luminescence that they have discovered. That is now connecting to dolphins in some way. And animal sounds and nature sounds also have a strong impact on our body. It connects us back to our roots, to our origins, to our how to call it, even to our animal or natural state of being. So when you're feeling not at ease in some way, try listening to some natural sounds, and you'll see the impact it has uh, with with um, calming and so on. Mm, questions so far. Let's take a break for questions because we're slowly coming towards the end. We only have 20 minutes or half an hour, and I haven't heard much from you. You know, where are you from? What's your name? And what would you like to ask tonight? And what would you like to find out? You know, in these last 20 minutes. What's your curiosity with this theme? Any questions so far? I will continue and answer the questions as we go because there's not much time left. Um, mhm. Yeah. Someone is asking here that if I know any particular sounds that are beneficial for awakening masculinity. Uh, you know, awakening masculinity is a vast field. I'm not sure what exactly you are referring to, but with this term, but I can recommend in Elke Neher's work, the artist that I'm recommending with the reef frequencies. I can recommend a video, a video that is called "Integrating Masculinity" or your masculine side, that is having powerful effects on that, and you can look it up over the YouTube. You can look it up over the YouTube and find it. For male sexual health, we're not only having the and recommending the sounds and music, but we've also created a guided meditation that is especially created for what you're asking. So for male sexual health, we've created the meditation that works with the healing sounds, and it works with the endocrine system, so the endocrine glands. It works a lot with thyroid, which is very important for expressing your the masculinity in general, and or gender in general. And it works a lot with the sexual organs and how the sexual energy is circulating throughout the body. And I'm gonna look it up and place the link next to this video so that you can get access to it, because it's specially created with for men, and we've worked a lot on this one to bring, you know, healing and um, and balance to the masculine representatives of our community. Uh, in a moment, I will place that link so that you can have it. And apart from that, like I said, you can you can look for Elke Neher's work and see what she's doing with the balancing masculine and integrating the masculine side, because that's literally a melody of frequency created for awakening and balancing masculinity. Okay, so um, that's what I recommend in that field. And also the melodies that are, you know, strong and in a crescendo uh, rhythm are very useful. I would even recommend Mozart for that because it has a strong impact on the solar plexus and the throat chakra, and that balances some of the masculine qualities that um, we wanna we wanna enhance. So just a second, I just found the link to the healing masculine healing meditation. Okay, so I'm gonna post it in a second so that you can have access to it. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And thank you for the question. It was a very good question and very well placed. Very well, that's the link. I hope it works. I've checked it on my computer and it's working pretty well. What else? Any other questions? I see new ones joining in right now. I invite you to again place your name and country in your chat in the chat box next to the video if you're on the laptop, and let us know where are you from and what would you like to find out from this team. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions that you would like us to mention in this webinar. You have the chat box next to the video if you're on your laptop, and um, you can you can try it. So for Gopinath, if you have tried the link of the masculine healing and it didn't work, I'm gonna try it again. Try to post it again and see how this works this time. Okay. Thank you for sharing your feedback. Let's see. There you go. So in a chat box, you should have it now, and I hope it works. Hmm. That's interesting. It's working on my computer, but when I place it in the chat box, you can open it. Okay, I'm going to do something else because I don't like to give up. I'm going to place the link to the intro. We have an intro to this meditation on YouTube. I'm going to place the link to the intro, and from there, below the intro, you find the link to the meditation. So you have the intro, you can listen to it, and then below you get access to the whole meditation right in the comment below the video. That should work. Because I don't know why this link doesn't open from the chat box. It's a mystery to me. Yeah. Okay. So let me know if you can access the yeah. Yeah, that's really strange. It opens on the computer and then from the chat box it doesn't open. Thank you for sharing that and so for letting us know. Thank you. Okay. Also, was a little thing to add is about the cymatics. You've seen how it impacts. So if you go on Google and type cymatics, you will find out how sound can literally rearrange the grains of sand on a plate and rearrange it in a harmonious pattern, and that's uh, created now a whole movement of people designing or creating sound art with sound and with sand and water, and literally cymatics concerts with this. um, Apart from using music and subliminal sounds and affirmations that you can listen, on your earphones, you can also use your own sounds, so uttering your own sounds for harmonizing and healing your body. And I mentioned the 6 healing sounds. You find out about them in our class as well. Um the 6 healing sounds, each one corresponding an internal organ or group of organs. that are specific to the Taoist tradition and the healing tradition um, of the Chinese or Asian holistic health. And you can use mantras. Mantras are very powerful in healing your body. It's like the Hindu version or the Tibetan version of the affirmations. Just they are not full words. The mantras are power letters or power syllables that are charged with a certain energy that impacts the body. And if you're, for example, oming or repeating the mantra om for a certain amount of time, you'll see that it has a strong impact on your physical system. And first of all, the mental gets more and more relaxed and maybe even focused or cleared in many ways. If you're repeating other types of mantras, they're also each one having their own effects, and they can resonate with certain beings or certain deities or certain mental states and so on. So the culture of mantras is so vast that I can't even get started on it without talking for hours on only that. But it's um, best that you use them and try for yourself, because that's the best way to verify the truth and to see the effects of something. Okay, another question here in the chat box is if I know the difference of benefits between chanting mantra out loud and chanting it mentally. Yes, very, very good questions. Thank you very much. There are different differences in the impact um between chanting it out loud and chanting it mentally. Um, the more we are familiarized with a mantra, the more it gets internalized, And if you're repeating a mantra long enough and concentrated enough, you will notice that eventually your system will start chanting it by itself. It's like your cells are emanating that mantra. I'm going to go a little deeper into that. The the levels of working with a mantra are going from chanting it out loud to chanting it inwardly. And the last level is when the system, your cells or your inner being is chanting it by itself without you even paying attention to that. It's like the mantra is so well integrated that is emanating from you. So these are the levels of working with a mantra. Sorry, my throat is getting dry. The levels of working with a mantra, and the more internalized it is, the more you're taking it within, the more it's starting to be a part of you or part of your being, and impact your being. But it takes practice. It takes practice, and for me, always a mantra worked best when repeated inwardly. So I would maybe repeat it once or twice outwardly, and then it would literally pull me within. But when your mind is not very well trained in meditation, it might be beneficial to chanted out loud for a while, so that it keeps your mind busy and also your mouth busy, and focus most of your attention on that mantra. It's more difficult for the mind to wander around while you're you're busy uttering it up loud. If you're then able to concentrate, sorry, I have a friend here that is playing on the floor, and I'm keeping an eye on him. Um, if you're concentrating, if you're not having difficulties in concentrating inwardly, and your mind is already trained, then uttering the mantra inwardly is more helpful because it pulls more of your attention within. So that would be the difference. Another difference would be that when you utter a mantra out loud, you can help the ones around you. For example, I chant a mantra, I can impact the mental states of the ones that are listening to me. So it can have a wider effect on the surroundings and even on the place where you are. You know, when you're chanting a mantra in a room, it resonates with the walls and the space in the room. If you're chanting a mantra in a pyramid, it's totally different ball game because the pyramids are built for resonating. So it's like a device, or that is then resonating all the way throughout the cosmos. So that would be the effect of chanting a mantra out loud. You know, it's both of the practices have benefits, and the difference is in what you want to do with it. You know, but you know, just just practice and see. That's the main answer to that. Okay, everyone, we're heading towards the end. Yeah, and I don't want to forget to mention the vowels, because they are very, very potent and powerful in our practice. Each vowel, thank you very much. People are very pleased of this answer, so thank you for your feedback. The vowels are in some way mantras by themselves. Um, each vowel is corresponding to a chakra, so it opens a chakra. I'm not going to give the correspondence now, but what I recommend is for you to practice and see which vowel is opening which chakra. That's a good exercise. If not, I'm sure you can find the information on the internet. But, without further mentalizing everything, we can just chant the vowels and see what they do to our body and how they open our being. And that's the best way to discover the effects without even knowing um, what they do. So repeating the vowels under the shower, for example, where when you're taking and that's necessary to be repeated out loud. So it's not like with the mantras. It's you need to put the vocal cords to work so that it has an impact. Um, the vowels, like I said, are not only opening the chakras but are also harmonizing the fields around us. Uh, the easiest way to maybe harmonize a group is to chant vowels with the group all together, and the way it shifts the people is just amazing. I feel very tempted to do some vowel chanting towards the end of this webinar, and I invite you to do the chanting with me, and see what happens. Because unless your neighbors are going to be really scared or disturbed, it can only have positive aspects. And if you can chant it very loud, you can just, murmur it in the silence of your room and see how they impact your body. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open, and see what vowels come out. And I invite you to do the same. You don't have to do the same vowels that I'm doing, but you can tune into your breath, align. See yourself as being aligned to the center of the universe and to the center of the earth and centered in your heart. And then try to bring your attention from the heart through the throat chakra. It's like you're bringing light from the heart through the throat chakra. And from that, you start to let the sounds out and see what sound your body wants to start with. And I'm going to take a moment and come back with you in a second, and you concentrate on that. So, right back at you. Now, start following the breath a little bit, centering your heart. I have a lot of pillows around me on this chair, and some of them are dropping on the floor. Some of them are, shifting their position, and I like to have them arranged so that I can sit comfortably. But because I can't stand rigid armchairs or rigid chairs. I want to have everything soft underneath me. So that's why you see me doing this all the time. I'm always arranging the stuff I'm sitting on. I spend a lot of time in webinars or healing sessions via Skype, in front of the computer, and that's why I require to have a soft thing to sit on always. Back on the breath, back in your heart. Take a few deep breaths just to see how you feel and how you can center more. And then we open up and just let a sound come out. Place your hand on your heart and just do 3 R's at the beginning to just see how it impacts your body, Just out loud or a little slower if you're having people around, But just do a deep breath and then and then another deep breath and and then keep your attention in your heart and let the sound come out, the sound of your heart. And if you need to do more of this, you can do it later in the shower or at the end of this webinar and see what you've seen, maybe how easily your mood has shifted and your body has shifted with just this simple exercise. Imagine if you do it every day, how strong an impact it would have on your whole system. And also on the space around you, because when we did this in the forests, for example, or in open spaces out in nature, this thing that I did late in the last part is called toning. When we did toning in a forest, we've witnessed like literally the weather change. Sometimes rainbows come out, sometimes the clouds go away. It's really a strong impact on even the environment. And I'm not exaggerating. And I can also relate that with dolphins. Dolphins are the only known creatures that can consciously shift the weather. Well, some of the people can with the right toning, because dolphins are toning specialists. They are sending sound bubbles to each other, they are communicating in an amazing way. So, everybody, I'm hoping you enjoyed this quick exercise, and I'm hoping you'll be doing more of it at home. We're inviting you to, like I said, participate to the whole training of the pranic consciousness process, either by joining the video series that we had, or joining us in live streaming each Friday night, because from now on we'll be having it Friday night. We're starting a new series, in next Friday, February 16th. And the link to the new series is here. You can join us, you can participate to each workshop on Friday, have a meditation with us, have a theme that we're harmonizing, pranic harmonization theme that we're approaching each Friday with methods and arguments and science and everything. And it's a fabulous training held in like I said, support of 8 ascended masters, and I'm facilitating. And we also invite you to the Pranic Festival in Romania that we've started booking the places. And you have the link to that here. It's in August 15 to 19, 2000, so this year. And you can already book your place. It's amazing speakers, amazing gathering, amazing pranic portals, and amazing participants joining in. I thank everyone for joining us. Those of you who have joined the whole training will get maybe a feedback questionnaire to um, to fill up. And if you're sending me, I can also send you the graduation or the completion diploma, so that you have it, with the Embassy of Peace logo and everything, that are sent out by Jasmine. So thank you everyone for joining us throughout the training or for this webinar. I hope you enjoyed it, and I am looking forward for your feedback in the comments next to the video or below if you're watching on Facebook, on our email if you are watching at home the video recording, later on. And sending blessings to everyone, and looking forward to see you next Friday in the new training series of the Pranic Consciousness process, and to see you in person at the festival again. Hugs of love to you and blessings, and have a nice evening or day depending on where you're watching. Bye bye.